Hello. Hello there, my name is Bruce Rain from Brankus Creations, and this is what we call a very, very rushed, disorganised, impromptu live stream. Suffering from some pressure from other people. I haven't even tested all my cameras at this stage, so let's see if this one works. It does. We're good. It's a little bit on the dark side, but it works. Hello to folks. I don't expect many viewers because, well, quite frankly, I didn't tell anyone. 5 concurrent viewers. Well, there we go. So now I'm going to bed. Goodbye. I would just like to say a quick hello to Jay. Hello to Dana. Jay has been pressuring me now for the last couple of hours to do a live stream, and yeah, so well, I mean, this is the whole thing. It's very, very late over there. He might just go, you know what? I've made him do it. Now I'm going to go to bed. Better not, though. Hello, NK Morpheus. Thank you for joining. In this one here, basically this just came down to the fact that I was going to be recapping this thing anyway. Thought I may as well live stream it. And I need to move that. There we go. See, this monitor moves every now and again because sometimes the chicken walks behind it and moves it. So I'm trying to discourage this behavior, but, you know, chickens aren't very smart. They don't have very big brains. They've got little teeny weeny little brains. Now, my desk here, as usual, is unbelievably messy. And it's really starting to get me down. I have got some plans in the works for moving some things from over there to a different shed and then turning some of that into some storage for this repair work, because to be honest, I'm getting so many repairs at the moment, it's getting a bit silly. This is a Macintosh 2CI, one of my favourite Macs. Let me just bring this over here because I'm missing comments. Hello, hello Berend Bosma. Hello, Jan Motz. And he looks like a fucker pop of a baby robot chicken. Well, you know what? I think it's an owl. It says the big eyes there, and there's the beak of the owl. So this is what I'm calling my owl cooling system for my ultrasonic cleaner. As I've mentioned before, I mean, I've made this ultrasonic cleaner, and I am going to do a video on it. One of the reasons why I haven't done a video on it yet is because it's been giving me problems, and I want to include those problems and the repairs to those problems as part of the video. For example, this is basically 8 ultrasonic transducers powered by 4 ultrasonic power supplies. And so far, 2 of those power supplies have failed on me. They have now been repaired, but it doesn't leave me with a great deal of hope for the future of the rest of them. So anyhow, we'll see what happens. Okay, so have you considered using the UV laser to draw an oval in the sensor? It'll look like you have a halo. Look, it's a good idea. Once I have a new camera, which I still don't, I will probably have a little bit of fun and see what I can do to this. I suspect it might be very difficult for me to get accuracy, because at the end of the day, you know, the lens is that sort of size. I think whatever I end up doing to it will be entirely random. Okay, so we've just got the night owls here at the moment from my Mac-Yak friends. Just a reminder for everyone to jump onto the old Apple serial number info.com and vote for the Macintosh 512K, because it has fallen behind. Joey, if you would like to put a link there for your website so people can visit it. Come on. Hey, Steve, hello and welcome. I'm glad. Look at this. We got the night owls. This is fantastic. What time is it over there at the moment? It would be, what, midnight or something? Or 20 to 1 or something like that? I can't remember. Apple serial number info. Vote 512K. Don't vote G4. Vote 512K. Just remember the impact the 512K had on the world compared to the G4. It's not even close. Okay, so 12:40. That's all right. That's not too bad. Yeah. I mean, that's early for you guys, isn't it? All right. So let me just jump across here to a little side view. Oh, excellent. My key commands are working, even if the display is a little bit on the dark side. I might need to brighten that up. It is a little bit dark. Yeah. Excuse me while I just go over the camera and brighten that up. Ow. Sore knees. Ouch. Old person's problems. Okay. Time for some brightening. Whee, there we go. Looking a little bit brighter there. You know, whenever you're trying to brighten or darken something, how come it always is the case that you turn it one way and it's always the wrong way, and then you turn it the other way, it's the right way? It's like putting a USB plug into the port, isn't it? You never get it in the right way the first time. G4 equals supercomputer, 512K equals not. Not sure if the G4 was a supercomputer. Just saying. I have a hard disk SCSI from an old Dell server. Can I use that for my Mac Plus? Well, that's assuming, of course, it is the right plug. So obviously you're talking about a hard drive. Are you talking about a hard drive in an enclosure? Or are you talking about a hard drive, just a normal internal hard drive? Obviously, if you're going to connect it to the Plus, it needs to be in an enclosure. If it is a SCSI, as long as you've got a cable that goes from the Mac Plus to that, it should be fine. Just keep in mind, of course, that when you're using a Mac Plus, if you're using old System 608 or 605 or 7.1 or 7 or whatever you're using there, you've got a 2 gigabyte partition limit. So if your hard drive is greater than 2 gigabytes, then you'll have to partition it into small 2 gigabyte partitions. And of course, you will need to use a third-party formatting utility, because the built-in Apple HD SC thingy, whatever it's called, the hard formatting thingy, doesn't like third-party drives. It only liked its own drives. So yeah, there's a very a roundabout answer. So this is a Macintosh 2CI logic board. I really like this computer. It was, and that's mainly because of a nostalgic fondness. I used to use these back when I worked in pre-press and design, and these were very powerful computers at the time. I mean, when these came out, I mean, these just left everything for dead. So it's yeah, I definitely do like these. One of the big problems these suffer from are electrolytic capacitor leakage and from battery leakage. Now, this one has had its battery removed by some forward-thinking individual. Not sure who, but previous owner of this had took the battery out, so that when I happened upon this, I bought this in a bulk lot of computers, completely expecting this to be shot, dead, gone, wrecked. And I had a look inside, and it doesn't look too bad. I mean, you can sort of see the smeariness. If I get the light reflecting on it the right way, you can kind of see there's this dull section here where you can see all the capacitor leakage, and it's the same here. It's as dirty as anything. It's like, I mean, you could grow foodstuffs in this. There is a little bit of ugliness around here. I'm going to have a look at under the microscope, but 512K, was just in response to what you're saying there, Dana. 512K it changed the world. G4 didn't. Just saying. Okay. Right, so what have we got under here? Let's jump across to a little microscope view. We'll get some focusing happening. This is stuff that I normally do in preparation for my live streams, but of course this live stream had absolutely zero preparation. Once again, I'm going to throw the blame around for that one and say that's because of pressure from other folks. Okay, here we are. But I know that those folks aren't going to accept any blame, so... Alright, we've got a critter. Hey, he's a dead critter, but there's a critter. Hey there, feller. Oh, it's just the skin of a critter by the looks of it. Whatever was in here has broken out and crawled away. And what have we got there? That looks like a seed pod. Yep, that's a seed pod of some description. Imagine what this is going to smell like when I hit it with the hot air. It's going to smell like a bushfire. And we've got some dust, and of course everything clings because we've got capacitor leakage here. I mean, what you could fairly safely say about this computer is if it was given enough time, this would just be a corroded mess. I like to consider that I have got to this one in time. I mean, I don't know until this thing's been properly cleaned, but supply is still good. The guy even soldered a new clock battery PRAM on. What did he solder it on for? You know what I would solder it on? You want a clock battery that's removable. That's just my opinion. But it was nice of him to do that, I suppose. Or are you saying he soldered on a new holder? Maybe the holder was damaged? I'm axing. Yes, because I do. It is often necessary to solder on new holders when they get damaged. Because I have another one of these floating around here. Is this it? No, this isn't it. That's Quadra 700. It's around here somewhere. So I was working on it just recently. Here it is. this is that it? Yeah. Yeah. This is another one, and this one is the one with some horrendous battery corrosion. It's one of the great things about having a working one. When you've got a one that's not working, you can use the working one for comparisons. But anyhow, this is my unhappy one. I also have another one. I actually have 3 2CIs. 2 working and well, this one's not working yet, but it will be. So 2 working and 1 not working. So yeah. He used a clock battery holder and soldered it with wires. Okay, fair enough. Cash cards stopped working even though he recapped it. That's a shame. The cash cards, there's one here, they do end up with quite a lot of bad corrosion around these caps. I know the last one I recapped, I had to do quite a bit of work to get it happy again. But we'll have a look at that. It uses 22 microfarad, 25 volt capacitors, and I think I've only got polymer ones of those. So I may, if I have tantalums, I'll put them on, but I think I only have polymers. So to be honest, looking at this and how dirty and dusty it is offending me. So I think I want to just clean this and get it fixed up as soon as possible, because then it will bring me much joy to have another 2CI that works. Well, I'm assuming it's going to work. There we go. I'm on a bit of a roll at the moment. I shouldn't say that, should I? But I've been on a bit of a roll with repairs. I've actually been getting things working. Excuse me for my stomach. I just had lunch. So, all right. So, Matt's Tech, hello. It's been a while since I've been watching one of these streams. How is everyone doing? Well, I'm doing well, and I hope you are doing well as well. Hello to the 12 people watching. As I say, this is number one, an unusual time for me to be live streaming. I don't normally live stream at this time. What time is it? Yeah, to be starting a live stream anyway. I'm often still live streaming at this time when I start, but it's very very late for me to be starting. And of course, it is also a weird night. I mean, for me, so it's Thursday here, so I assume it's extremely early Thursday on the east coast of the US. All right. Well, I may as well get started on this thing, because otherwise it'll just be me prattling on. So we're getting ready for the stink. Now I'm going to be very careful with this, but maybe not as careful as I would be if it was a customer's board, because, I mean, if I melt something, it's not the end of the world. I need to get my better tweezers, because one of those pair of tweezers fell on the ground and I stepped on it, and it's never been the same since. One day I'll look at fixing it. Oh wow! You should smell this. It's a real mix of flavors going on there. Oh crap! Just throw the capacitor in the bin, not the freaking tweezers as well. What a loser! Okay, so we're going to get rid of the component adhesive from here. Just a little bit of heat, and off she goes. Don't like the component adhesive. Don't like it. Oopsie. Crap. Melting plastic. Love that smell. Can't wait to get this one clean. It's going to be a really rewarding one. I should have taken a photo of it beforehand, shouldn't I? A forward-thinking person would have done that. An idiot rushing to do a live stream wouldn't. There we go. Oh, that just landed in my lap. Still hot. Still hot. Okay. Right. Just going to move my laser beam out of the way, because I think it's going to get melted otherwise. Solder balls. Be right back. No worries, Steve. It's kind of weird for me to be streaming at this time, so I can't really expect people to be super conscientious. If they have to leave or go to bed or do whatever, I just have to accept that. So this capacitor here that I'm removing, which is sort of kind of underneath the picture of my head, sorry about that. is sitting right next to sound chips. So that's one sound chip there, and that's another sound chip there. One for the left channel, one for the right channel. Yippee! And of course we've got a nice big axial capacitor here. This one actually has 4 axial caps, which I will remove and replace. Generally they don't have any problems, but I will remove and replace them because Sires, hello. Shows the actual close-ups of the motherboards, and for that I respect you. Well, thank you for saying that. I mean, one of the reasons why I do these close-ups is because I've got this microscope, and it actually makes life really easy to demonstrate what I'm doing, because I'm looking through the microscope, and then all I'm doing is just sending you guys a picture of what I'm looking at. Admittedly, you're seeing a slightly smaller area than I am. I'm seeing a big circle, and you're seeing a rectangle from the middle of that circle. But it really is the best way to actually demonstrate this stuff so that you can just see exactly what I'm seeing. Now, you don't actually have to use a microscope for doing this stuff. These components are all quite large. I mean, I like to use it because my eyes are terrible because I'm getting old. And when you get old, your eyes go all long-sighted because apparently it's... Oh my God, would you look at this? It's like a herb mix. Sorry, we pronounce the H in herb in Australia. What was I going to say? Whoopsie. Off you come. I was talking about something I can't remember. Now, okay, this one definitely smells more outdoorsy as I burn all of this greenery, all these herbs. It's a funny thing because I watch a lot of cooking shows and I listen to the way Americans say herbs. And of course, we pronounce them differently as well. We say oregano instead of oregano, and we say basil instead of basil. So there you go. There's a little language lesson in case you ever get stuck in this country and you're from the US. Okay. Like the microscope view, as it gives you a really good close-up of what's going on. Yeah, I mean, as do I. I like it as well. Okay. I bought a Microsoft Max that reeks of urine. Are you able to distinguish what sort of animal it came from? You know, whether it came from like is it like person urine or cat urine or dog urine? I mean, oh, look at this. Crunchy. Don't like the look of that. Might need to take that off and clean it up a bit. It might take itself off when I put in the ultrasonic cleaner for all we know. Yeah, so this is the leakage from these little guys. Spreading their love around here. All of this around here is the startup circuit. So it's quite common if you have corrosion or trace problems here that the computer won't actually kick off. If you kind of hotwire the startup circuit, you can still often get them to work. But, you know. Michael Weir, hello. This is a Macintosh 2CI. Just letting you know that. I mean, you know that because it's in the description. Ron's Computer Videos, a Wednesday night surprise stream. That's exactly right. Ron's Computer Videos. Time for a quick plug of his channel, folks. Don't forget to have a look at Ron's Computer Videos. Have a look at some cool stuff going on there. I was on there just the other day. Okay. Righty. Alright. Okay, let's get this cap off. This one sitting behind the power switch, so I've got my little heat shield there so that I don't melt the power switch. That would not be good. And once again, we have stupid component adhesive here that I'm just going to remove. Ugly. Right. So, where I thought this was just going to be an absolute walk in the park, I can see I do have a little bit of work cut out for me here, but I still don't think we've got any real problems so far. I've certainly seen worse. Bye. Bye. Come on, one more. Off. Thank you. Okay, component adhesive. Component adhesive. There we go. Ugh. What? How? Right. I think it would really be prudent for me to take these components off here, clean up the pads and put them back down again. It's not my favourite job because it's going to take time. A whole lot of precious time. To do it right. I said, oh, did I say stupid wrong? I was supposed to say stupid. So stupid. Was I referring to myself or something else? I can't remember. I don't really pay attention to what I say. I'd kind of drift in and out, as Peter Griffin once said. And Brian Griffin said, do you even listen to what you say? And he said, oh, I kind of drift in and out. And that just cracks me up. Stupid. So stupid. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I had one situation. This is terrible. I shouldn't even tell this story. Actually, maybe I won't tell this story. I really shouldn't tell this story. It was just about an item that I was selling once. That was, it had been stored outside for a length of time and it had got sprayed on by a cat. So it was quite a job getting that smelling normal again. Because that stuff sticks around and permeates. So this is kind of giving me a bit of an indication of what's going on here. We are going to see corrosion, but I don't think we're going to see any breaks in the traces. We'll see. I am going to, as I say, well, I've got all the caps off, haven't I? Because I'm just so efficient today. Excuse me. Well, 20 people watching now already. Well, thank you for everyone joining. Please jump on and say hello if you haven't already. If I don't reply to you, it's not personal. It's just I do miss stuff in the stream, but I always like to say hello to people. And a bird has just landed on the roof of my shed. A winking emoji. What is that supposed to mean? Oh dear, that scares me. So at least we know it's human. We're guessing that it's human urine then. So nice, that's nice. It's a limited edition. Just say it was. No, it wouldn't work for a Microsoft mouse. If it was an Apple mouse, you could say it was Steve Jobs' urine. We could make it worth a fair bit of money. You could say it's Bill Gates' urine. How about that? Chris Gray, hello. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for watching. Alright, so we're going to whip this guy off. Just because these joints look so crunchy. I'm totally expecting that I may end up losing a leg. And if I do end up losing a leg, I will pinch this component from that other 2CI board until I can buy a new one. I shouldn't have any trouble buying a new one of these. If you have a look on the screen printing on the board here, it's upside down. You can see it says 74HC132. So we've got this HC132 on the chip. These sorts of things are still readily available. You know, you can just jump onto Digi thingy and Mousy thingy and just order replacements. For the really, really rare ones, there are other places you can go. I'm not going to tell you where they are because I don't want people to buy my stuff. But if you ask me really nicely, I might send you a direct message to let you know. My stuff. It's my stuff. Who gets urine as the vaccine to COVID? That's funny. He falsely claims it was new, never used vintage PC mouse. Well, never used as a mouse, but maybe just weed on. It's amazing how the discussions get to this sort of topic during a live stream, isn't it? Right, so far out. What do you call this thing? Some sort of wacky bent conical tip. Anyone who's ever watched my streams before will know, no, that's not right. That's the tip that I use when I'm working on little teensy-weensy little modern Macs, which I was working on last. I had to do some repairs to a 2014 Retina MacBook Pro 13-inch. Ron's Computer Videos, thank you very much for that. I'll have to give you another plug for that, won't I? Enjoyed the Amiga video the other day. Good to see some other 68K machines on the channel. Yes, as I have said before, I don't discriminate against any computer as long as it's got a Motorola chip, Motorola CPU. I've got 2 more Amiga 1200s up there for recapping at the moment, so I'm not sure if I'll live stream all of them. I'm certainly going to be making a video of one of them because I'm doing a mod to one of them, and I'm going to video that mod and post it onto the YouTubes. Now, one of the things I have found with the 2CIs, some of these ones that have these really bad pads on them, sometimes these pads and traces can get quite brittle. More so than other computers. So I'm going to just be super gentle because I don't want to have to go and do trace repairs. But as you can see, it just appears like I'm just rubbing backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, and that's what I am doing. Because what I'm actually trying to do is just get rid of as much of this black deposit on these pads as possible. If you have a look up here in the top left-hand corner, you'll see these pads are holding a nice round blob of solder. When we get down to these ones here, they're just holding little bits. They need to all be able to hold a nice big round blob of solder. Until they can do that, they're not clean. And I will continue cleaning them. If what I'm doing at the moment doesn't work, I then revert to the scalpel. But so far, I'm actually, as you can see, I'm making progress. That's very good. Being super careful, don't want to damage anything. And of course, once I clean this off, we'll see what it looks like then. So. Just mad about it. Yeah, fair enough. Well, give it some time. The wee smell might go away. I cleaned out my local electronics store of Wick. I sure hope they get some more soon because I go through it like nobody's business. Right. Okay, so as I say, this was just meant to be like a quick, straightforward recap, but I've already ended up having to remove other components. That's because they were looking particularly bad to me, and I just want to make sure that they are looking not so bad. I may end up having to take some more off, but for the moment, I think I'm hoping these are going to be the worst of it. These are the ones obviously right next to that little group of leaky capacitors. So, still got some black gunk on here, so the scalpel is going to make an appearance. Is Steve back yet? I just wanted to, if I have to change the blade, put a new blade in there, I just want him to see that, show that it is actually possible to put new blades in these things. Alcohol. There we go. These little dispensary things are a real pain. Alright, gonna clean these up. Grubby, isn't it? Full on grubby. I'm going to test some of these here. I'm just going to zoom in and show you the concerns that I have. As is often the case with these traces, what happens is you end up with a dip. You end up with a little dip going from the via to the trace, from the trace to the pad. You can see there's a little black line there. I want to make sure that we have some continuity here. So I'm going to get out the beepity beep beep machine and go beepity beep. And then we'll just test. Yay. 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 Okay, so we're all good. Everything's fine. You can relax. I'm just going to scrape a little of this black stuff off. I just want to be able to see the clear solder or copper. There we go. Now, of course, I don't really need to worry too much about, what is it, which ones are they there? Yes, who's ringing me? Oh, no, sorry, I can't talk right now. That pad there has no traces coming out of it, doesn't go anywhere. That one goes to this, that one goes to this, that one goes to this, that one goes to this. That one doesn't go anywhere. So, you know, if something went wrong with those pads, I wouldn't worry too much. Alright, so once more, we'll just go in and get some Wickety Wick, some John Wick, and we'll just rub these pads oh so gently. You're some tenderness. There we go. And this one's pretty much ready for that component to go back on. Now, what if DigiKey or Mouse or Arrow Electronics or Micro Center? I don't know those last two. I actually order from RS Components for the most part, certainly for most of my components. And the main reason why I order from them is because here in Australia, free delivery, and that's nice. Was it DigiKey or Mouse? No, actually, Element 14. They've been useful sometimes. They seem to keep a better stock here locally in Australia. So there have been times where I haven't been able to get stuff, or if I need something really quickly, Element 14 are usually able to get me stuff like real quick. It costs me a fortune for the delivery, but I can get it quick. Real quick. Sorry, focus issues here. Lacking focus. Right. Okay, so that one's all cleaned up. I probably should clean these pads here while I'm at it, shouldn't I? Yeah, shouldn't I? Yeah. I'll get some on that too. All right. So what did you miss? I was just paying you out before, just saying that these blades here on these scalpels and that can actually be changed from time to time if you want. But apart from that, not a whole lot. I am actually removing some components and cleaning the pads because they're particularly ugly. Hang on. Skipping a step here. No wick. Oh, okay, what was that? Oh god, look at these ones, too fast. Thanks for the reminder I need scalpels. You're most welcome. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to provide useful reminders. Reminders that you should stay up really late to watch my streams. Because, you know, work's not that important the next day, is it? You can do work before you're a bit sleepy. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's very hypocritical of me. I go to bed. Actually, I don't go to bed that early, but I certainly go to bed a hell of a lot earlier than these guys. I'm sometimes texting with them in their time, like 4 and 5 in the morning. It's like, what? Why am I even getting a reply from you now? What's going on? Okay, look at those pads. Look how shiny they are. Shiny. Come on. Come on. Come on. Trim some more off. A video about the TV driver. How's things? What are we fixing? Yes, we're fixing a Macintosh 2CI. This is one of the, well, this is a Macintosh from, what is it, 88? Probably written on the board. 89, there we go. Certainly Apple's flagship at the time it was released. They were extremely expensive. They were like something like $7,000 or something stupid like that. No, they were more than that. It was $7,000, I think, for the 2CX, which was the lower one. Look, I mean, it's hard out here. Everything was more expensive, so I can't really say. I don't know if I'm talking Australian dollars or US dollars. Hello, Chris. Welcome to the stream. So, yeah. These ones are super problematic about caps. Yes, that is correct. So, and I actually had someone say a comment on Facebook relatively recently where they said something like, "Oh yeah, those something like all those computers were made with defective caps," which is actually not the case. They weren't made with defective caps at all. They're just really, really old. And you've got to remember, all caps have a lifespan. And we're talking about a computer like this. Someone who can do maths a little faster than I can. So what is it, 89, so that's, what is that, 31 years? Does that sound right? So it's 31 years. When does Dana take over that one? Thank you very much for that, Dana. Look what he did. He did what Jay normally does. Put up my little, JB slacking. Yes, thank you for that, Dana. That is the website where I have all of my recapping links. Sort of recapping guides where you can actually get information about what caps go where and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I mean, if you're talking about a computer that is that old, it's not going to be surprising as having capacitor issues. I guess probably the issue was that they were using surface mount electrolytic capacitors on these boards, and they have a shorter lifespan than some other types of capacitors. So that's why they go. I'm not sure you could really fault something in the manufacture of this as such. It's just probably more to do with the caps getting old. Just going to move the board for a second because I want to clean up. Oops. Oh, there we go. I want to clean up this chip a little bit. I'm going to pop him down here. We're just going to have a look and see if he's repairable or if he's going to fall apart, which of course anything is possible. But I can tell you I do not like the look of the bottoms of these. They look crusty as anything. So this thing's going to get a bit of a bath and get a bit of a flux bath. I'm going to put some of this gunk on here like this. And this could kill it. It really could kill it. But I'm certainly not going to put it back on the way it looks at the moment. Something has to be done. Something has to be done. So I'm going to hold this down with some tweezers. I'm going to get this, and with a great big blob of solder here, I'm just going to run backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. I'm just using heat, solder, flux to just try and burn away anything crusty and crunchy. We start seeing solders adhering to those legs, those pins. Shouldn't call them legs, should call them pins, because that's the correct terminology. Don't do this on your kitchen bench. That would be very stupid. I think you'd end up getting in a fair bit of trouble with your, sort of your other half or your parents or whatever the case may be, depending on whose house you're at, or your landlord. Because what I'm doing here is, of course, making a terrible mess of this bench top. But this was specifically designed as a bench top that could be destroyed, as I'm doing at the moment. I bought a table, and then I bought a bunch of, I think it's 7-ply plywood, and I stuck it on top of the desk. And once this plywood has got to the point that it's just been torn to pieces, I will then replace it and put new plywood on. Because I'm a thinker. Oh yeah, I'm a thinker. Now this is the part where I need to be super careful, because I could damage these pins so easily. And I don't want to do that, because after all this work, that would just make me feel such a fool. Okay, this side's pretty good. This side looks like it's going to solder. This side's not so good. I might need to scrape this a bit with a scalpel. Which chip is this again? This is the one just next to that other one. You like that answer? You know where that thing is? It's just below that other thing. It's the chip next to the capacitor. I will show you in a moment. I don't remember exactly what it is. When I flip it over, you can see the code on it, and it will match a code that's on the board, because the board screen print on the board actually tells you what the components are, which is nice of them. Right, so especially when they single girls. Yeah, it just doesn't normally happen like that though. I don't think, does it? Okay, now I'm going to clean my gunk off. And hopefully what I end up with is something that is in at least some sort of condition for putting back on the board. Stop sticking. It keeps sticking to the table. Stop it. Thank you. Okay. Okay. I still don't like those. Need to make sure that whatever is going on here is clean enough for solder to stick to. It's a lot of work for one component, isn't it? If I had a spare one of these, I'd just stick a spare one on, but I do not. That's why we're going to these ridiculous lengths. And here we go. Here we go. We'll find out what chip it is in a moment. IIci. That's the type of chip. It lives just it's down a bit from the power button. And I think that one is. I think it's good. The rest will get sorted by the ultrasonic cleaner. But the most important thing is making it clean enough so that it will actually stick to the board. And there's probably some people ask me this sometimes. Hey, why don't you ultrasonic it first? There's probably some value in doing that in this instance. I generally don't because when I recap, I make a mess, and I'd rather clean it all off in one go rather than do two cleanings, scissors. But with one like this, as bad as it is, I suspect there's probably some value in doing that. Now, this one needs to go on. Oh, come on, flip over this way. We've got on the screen printing here, which you can't see because it's all blurry and this is terrible. There we go. You can see here we've got the little thing there to indicate the bump on the chip. Well, these ones don't have a bump. What they do have is a line running across there, and that is the equivalent of a bump. And that will tell you that this is then pin 1 right here. Right, let's get some flux. I still haven't got my delivery of new flux yet. I hope it arrives soon. They did say September. And it's September. I'm pretty sure it's September. There we go. Line equals bump. Remember that exactly. It's a quad NAND gate, is it? There we go. Okay. All right. Well, seeing as we're looking them up, what is? Oh, there's another one. And what's this one? There's one more. There's one more, and I can't see it because my. There we go. Let's do this. One more. This one is a 74HC74. I might even have spares of those actually. So there we go. 74HC74D. So what's that one? Alright, so let's get this guy put on. I think I've already got a little bit of solder on the end of my tip. So I'm just going to pop that there. I'll just do tack one little pin down first, just to hold it in place. Go a bit more solder. And there we go. Got tacked down in 2 places now. And now I just can start going crazy drag soldering. Yay! Drag solder. Drag solder like there's no tomorrow. Drag solder. Woo! There we go. And he's on and out of focus again. Cripey. Right. If I give that a little bit of a brush, we can look at that and say, oh, what a fine job. Brush. Like I bought one. What we got? Flip-flop is an inverter, or I'm not sure. We're not actually talking about what these components do. Don't ask me. I wouldn't have a clue. I know what some of them do, but not all of them. Probably like a 3-cent part. Yes, I know. If I, as I say, if I actually had one here, I would probably just replace it, but I'm pretty sure I don't. This one doesn't look as bad as the other one, so I mean, do I even need to take it off? What do you reckon? It's thrown a mean crust. Yeah, look like junk coming off. Yeah, I better replace it. Don't anyone ever accuse me of not doing a proper job. And you can accuse me of not cleaning my desk properly, but I can deal with that. Actually had someone leave a comment on my channel just recently saying, "Your desk is so messy. Reflects badly on your work." And I just replied to him, "Is that you, Mum?" This one is pretty dirty. I'm glad I am actually doing this. I'm glad I took it off. I'd have no regrets about this particular thing. Your desk is messy. You see, you say that, but what I actually just say is it's organised chaos. Whereas some people are lucky enough to have enough space to actually, put things. For me, there's no space. So everything has to be put here on the desk. So, whereas it looks like a mess, it's just lots of things put there. But I am working on a solution. I am working on a solution to give me more storage space here. Because I keep accumulating more stuff. I mean, I keep getting more stuff. And there's going to be even more stuff to come. Because, you buy equipment, you buy tools. I mean, initially I just started off with a soldering iron. Then I had to have a hot air station. And then I needed a bench power supply. And then I needed 2 bench power supplies. And then I needed a desoldering station. And stuff. What else is there? I had to have the speakers, of course. You got a multimeter floating around. And it's just chaos, people. Just chaos. Okay. Logic said basically until making a decision about blah, 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 blah. It's good to know. Actually, this is a badge of honour. Even Steve cleaned his desk. Yeah. Have you seen the size of his basement compared to the size of this shed here? He's got places to put things. Now, admittedly, what he puts there is lots and lots of vintage computers, but at the moment I have vintage computers on my living room floor because I've run out of space to put them. Some of them are mine. Actually, yeah, most of the ones on the floor are mine. Most of the customers' ones get choice locations. GT, hello, what are you doing up at this hour? Goodness gracious me. And on a Wednesday and everything. Even though it is Thursday now. Thank you very much for joining. We're looking at a 2CI here at the moment. This is a 2CI that I picked up in a group of computers that I got a long time ago. And first thing I did when I grabbed it is I opened it up and had a look and realised that the battery had been removed and there was no battery corrosion. So that was a joyous moment. And then I looked at the caps and I thought, yeah, definitely need doing. But now that I actually get into it, I realise that it's actually pretty bad. But I do believe it's okay. It's all fixable. What do we think about that black line there? We're going to get some continuity there. How long has the stream been going? It's been going since, what was it? It's coming up for an hour, I think, something like that. But that's still got continuity, even with that horrible black thing there. Oopsie. Let's just give it a little bit of a scrapey scrape. See if we can clean it up some. Two sides is beautiful, even the design is well. Yeah, here's the thing that I like about it. If you're looking at the history of sort of Apple computers, you had that box, that actual box size. And in that exact box size, there were only, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, 3 computers made. There was a 2CI, there was a 2CX, there was the Quadra 700. And I love all 3 of those. Obviously, the Quadra 700 looked a little bit different, and it was orientated vertically, whereas the CI was meant to be sat on the desk horizontally. And of course, the Quadra 700, which appeared in Jurassic Park, and is not a Unix system, despite what that child said. What camera are you using on your Amscope? That's a very good question. It is an IIci 210. It's one that has an HDMI output. It also has a USB output, though it can't do both at the same time. So if you connect it to USB and you are, if you plug it into a computer, it assumes you want to use it as like a webcam, like I am using it now. If you connect it to a powered USB port, not to a computer, so in other words, you're not actually using the data lines, it'll assume you want to run it in HDMI mode, and then you can actually run it to a screen, which is what I do. And when I'm working here all by myself, I put it up on that screen. Or if I'm doing some work for a customer and they're here, I can show them what I'm doing while I'm working on it. They can see, because there's a screen just up there. At the moment, that screen is blue, and it says PC camera, because it's telling me that I can't show you what you're doing because you're doing it on the live stream. It's not the best camera, but you know, it's a good cost versus quality compromise. One of the big problems with most of this stuff linked with you know, microscopes and stuff like that is they're usually really pricey, and this one wasn't too bad. So okay. Okay. So 2 6 could be placed on the side. Yes, they could, absolutely. Absolutely, they could be placed on their side. But it just meant then words Macintosh 2CI were at an angle. And, you know, come on, how unsightly is that? Of course, that, of course, all changed when CD-ROMs came out, because CD-ROM, tray-loading CD-ROMs, they needed to be up the right way. So you couldn't just decide to have your computer one way or the other. It had to be using it the way it was designed to be used. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to put CDs in it. Back on these old ones where they just had floppies and hard drives, no problem. Run it as a tower. Why not? I've got one more computer to recap after this one from the batch of computers that I bought, the lot that I got. And that is a Macintosh 2. We'll be doing it soon. There's going to be trace repair on that one, so that's going to be great. So can anyone tell me what was the first... I genuinely don't know this, so I'm asking. What was the very first Apple computer that you were able to purchase from the factory with a CD-ROM drive in it? I think it might have been like the 900, the Quadra 900. I think, but I could be wrong. And I'm pretty sure the first desktop was the 2VX, 2VI, 2VX, yeah, 2VX. But, you know. Performance 600, hang on. We had, wait. Is your fan on? Yes, it is on, but I think it's not going fast enough. I'll probably need to crank it up. Centra 650 or 2VX, I think. Centra 6, no, with the 2VX was before then, but wasn't the 900 before then? And that certainly had a bay for a CD-ROM drive. But maybe it did, you weren't able to order it from the factory with a CD-ROM drive. My chronology is terrible. But yeah, the 2VX definitely came before the before those Performers and Centrises, didn't it? I think, pretty sure. 2VX was the last of the Mac 2 range, and as I say, that did have a CD-ROM drive in it. We need every Mac. Where's Steve? Steve, you're there? Yeah. Steve, you said 650 or 2VX, I think. Well, the 2VX definitely came before the 650. I'm sure of it. No, I'm not. I'm pretty sure of it. We're Mac nerds. Sorry. Geez, I could do with a cup of tea right now. It would slow me down, though. This is a lot of work to save a component, isn't it? That we know only costs a few cents. And we know is still available today. But we also know that I would have to wait for it to arrive. 2VX it seems. Okay, well there we go. I don't think I have a 2VX. I've got two 2VIs. Or maybe one of them is a 2VX. I'm pretty sure I've got two 2VIs. Yeah. Tell you what I realised that I had the other day when I started playing with them. I didn't realise I had this. I had two 7600s. Who freaking needs two of them? Two separate kind of purchases that I made. Yeah, sort of. Let's call them impulse-ish. One of them was a lot of 8 computers, and the one that was just 2 computers. And the one that was 2 computers, one of them was a 7600, and one of them was a 2VI. And the other one was a whole bunch of computers. But yeah, to have got two 7600s when I mean. Yeah, no one needs two 7600s, do they? I have upgraded both of them to G3s now because I could. I had a PowerLogix G3 card, CPU card, and I had a Sonnet Crescendo G3 card. The PowerLogix can actually be configured with dip switches to go all the way up to 500 megahertz, but it wouldn't work. I'm sure there's a reason for that, and I'm sure someone would know why. But as soon as I put it onto 450 or 500 megahertz, it simply didn't work in the 7600. When it was running at 400 megahertz, no problem at all, ran beautifully. The Crescendo is also a 400 megahertz G3, so I now have two 7600s that are upgraded to G3s, and I've got, I think, 270 or something megs of RAM in one and 300 and something in the other one. So they're fairly well spec'd. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, though. I just don't know. Yeah, I can understand that. I can understand that wanting a 7400. There's a bit of a gap, wasn't it? They went 7200, 7300, 7500, 7600. Is that right? Oh, hang on. Oh, there's a whole list there. Look at it. 7100, 72, 73, 75, 76. Yeah. Quadrant 950 was 1992. So where does that fit in with the 2VX? They've got way beyond the issue. Those cards just can't handle a proper beating sometimes. Yeah. It's always thought if you don't want anybody in your stuff. Okay, so I almost bought a PowerBook 540C, but the seller writes me that he has personal stuff on it and would be bad for both of us if it got into the wrong hands. Oh dear. Yeah, I mean, I think this is one of the, I guess, advantages with having having at least a relationship or knowing. So a lot of the computers, not a lot, but some of the computers I've purchased, I've bought from people I know. So if there's stuff on there, I just say, no worries, I'll erase it. And I do. I mean, I don't want other people's stuff. And the awesome responsibility that goes with it. You see what I'm doing at the moment? This is a cheat. Rather than taking that component off and cleaning the pads and then cleaning the chip, I am just doing this one wasn't as bad as the other two. This one I'm just doing a shortcut. I don't feel good about it, but I think it's going to work fine. Actually, and that's nonsense, actually. I really don't feel bad about it at all. Yep, drag soldering. I need to spin this around. I'm not getting a good angle at it at all. So why didn't we get a 7400? Who's responsible? Who can we blame? Who was CEO at the time? It's actually working out quite well. I mean, there's a lot of solder on here, but they're making good contact. There's no fears there. There's a vein. All right, okay. Well, that was a very long, tedious spindler, of course. Yes, Mr. Plastic Man. Our favourite Plastic Man. We say that, of course, because of the brittle plastics. It's funny. There was a post on Facebook just the other day of someone with a box with, I think, a 575 in it, opening the box, and of course it was just, you know, a wrecked mess. And I looked at it and I thought, this particular individual who knows Macs rather well, I was amazed that they would even attempt getting one of these computers delivered by a carrier. I mean, generally when it comes to, like, if someone said to me, oh, I'm selling a 575 or a 580, not that anyone wants to buy that 580, or those sorts of computers of that era, I would just say, no, you don't ship it. It has to be picked up. You can't ship those things. Come out. It had a bend on the end. That's why that one was so difficult to remove. So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm removing the pins of the axial capacitors. I've snipped them off, and now I'm just removing the pins. And the way I'm doing that is by applying some heat and some solder, and then I'm pulling these pins out with tweezers. Well, I'm trying to, but the problem is that these pins have been bent on the other side, and so they're making it very hard to get out of the frickin' hole. There we go. Out she comes. 3275 came out together. It was a stupid numbering system. I'm just going to go out and say it. That was a stupid numbering system they used. Maybe I'd be better off actually removing these from the other side. Just going to check on how many people I have watching at the moment. 32 people. Hello, 32 people. Thank you for joining my live stream at a very unusual time for me. I am planning to probably still do a stream this weekend. I usually do try and stream on the weekend, usually on a Saturday. And that probably will happen again. Off. Off. Thank you. Don't want to melt my power thingy there. This one's not taking heat very well, and that generally tells me that the one I'm looking at here is a pin that's attached to a ground plane, and so it's not. It's all of that's helping to dissipate the heat. All that extra copper. Yeah, I mean, we can go through all of the really, really bad, brittle Macs of the time. They're come on, there we go. Now we got some heat there. I don't know who bent these pins on the other side. Was it someone in a factory? Coming for you. There we go. That one came off easy. One here. There we go. Yep. Oh, that's right. I don't mind how many times that gets put on the chat. I have zero objection at all. So thank you, Jay, for that. Dana did put that on before, and it's always appreciated. Hello from Seattle. Hello, hello. Hello, Ali Silman? Sorry, the little tiny letters in my old eyes. Old eyes. I can't see anymore, Sonny. You need to make that a little closer, a little bit bigger. No. Come out, solder. There we go. No, we didn't. We nearly did. Have to get that one from the other side. Oh. Okay. Out you come, solder. You all out yet? Are you? I might have to get that one from the other side as well. God, the first one came out so easily, and then the rest of these. There we go. There we go. Making some holes. Yay. There's a chat going on at the moment. I don't know why I'm bothering to look at it. I'm sure it will just be silly stuff. Alright. Have a look on the other side of this here, shall we? See, some of this solder has bulged out the other side. Going to grab that with my wick. Wow, that was a lot of solder. Solder. That's clear, that's clear. Is that clear? It is all clear. It is all clear now. One, two, there's one more. This one's being a pest. Wasting all that perfectly good slot car braid. Yes, one could always refer to the use of wick as being wasteful. It does definitely use up a lot of this stuff. I don't know how well this would go as slot car braid, because I know that this does actually have flux in it. Come on. Don't make me get out the big one. Makes me cross. Taking the caps off that LC power supply today was a breeze with the Brucinator. Oh, that's good to hear. For anyone who doesn't know what a Brucinator is, I have one over here. I don't use it much anymore because I've now got an machine. Sorry, lots of in-jokes going on here. The machine that I use makes a sound like so I call it the machine. You give it a proper name sometimes, but I don't mention that on live streams. This is a Brucinator here. And that's a sneeze. Proper name is much better. Okay, so what I've got here is, apart from a runny nose now, I've got a great big bevel tip that's going to allow me to smash this thing with a whole bunch of heat. I think that's empty now. Is that empty? I think it's empty. Yep, I think it's empty. Smash that like button. Hey guys, what's up? Thanks for joining. Hey, have you subscribed? You like my channel? Please subscribe. And smash that like button. Okay, so we're working our way through this. This is good. I mean, I do feel like I'm making progress. I am prattling away at the same time, but I am actually making some progress. So this is good. Got slowed down a little bit by those ugly components, but you know, this is what happens when you're working on all these computers. You never know what you're going to be faced with. And we got faced with some ugliness. 30 viewers and just 15 likes. Oh dear. Thank you for reminding people, Joe. I do appreciate that. Got the great big tip here. Need to change back to a small one. Don't like this one for this work. Actually, I'll tell you what I'll do. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take these pins out here in case I need this again, because we do have another axial cap on this. Actually, there we go. Tavasor's place. Thank you. You need to do an entire stream with an American accent. Yes. Which one will I do though? I do my south, one from the south. Oopsie. I don't do it very well. But I do it nonetheless. Never let not being able to do something well get in the way of doing it. Not, you know, that yet what I said. Like speaking English. This one's needing some heat, I'm telling you. Oh, you want to come out? You know you do. Should I just come at this from the other side? Yeah. Probably going to end up there anyway. I'm poking through. Poke. Okay. So, let's see if we can suck this solder out of here. Oh, thank you for the bless you. Appreciate that. Don't know why, yeah, it's a little bit, it's spring here. It gets a little bit hay fevery, and probably doesn't help the fact that I'm inhaling all of these delicious fumes. Which is very bad. Let's not kid ourselves. I should have a fume extractor here. I don't use one when I'm live streaming because the noise pisses me off. But that really isn't an excuse. I'm talking to you. Siri just assumes I'm talking to her and I'm not. Hey Siri, stay out of my conversations. There we go. So, let's see if I can crank this fan up a little bit more, because I do really feel like I'm just getting fumes right up my nose at the moment. That ain't good. Why aren't you going up? Up. There we go. Right, now I've got a little bit more of a cross breeze happening. Could save your life. Come on. Don't be a thing. Don't be a rude word. Okay. Recognise the difference between Australian, Kiwi, New Zealander accents, but I couldn't possibly tell the difference between Australian dialects. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, there's not that much of a difference. I can usually tell the difference between someone from, say, Queensland, New South Wales, and I can usually tell if someone's from Melbourne or Adelaide, but I generally can't tell the difference between Melbourne and Adelaide. Well, I'm about to get a visitor by the sounds of things. Oh no. Just walked straight past me. Am I through? Is it through? I'm not even sure if it's through. Let's shove something in there and see. Okay. Whoopsie, that's the wrong end of the needle. Now that is definitely solder still in there. Make no mistake. See if we can coax it out with copious amounts of heat. Just not cooperating, is it? Let's try it from the other side. Oh, look at that big blob of solder there. Let's see what we can do. Get the wick there in readiness and bang. What? Is this some sort of sick joke? sucks. I could do a Kiwi accent, but I'd upset all of my friends and family who live over there. Not to mention the fact that my wife is a Kiwi. Ooh. Getting visited by pigeons at the moment. Hungry pigeons. Come on, you want to. There, look at it. Look. Got it. It's open. Yep. Hey, hurrah. Getting pretty tired, so I'm going to head off. Hope you have a great day tonight. Thank you very much, Matt. Thank you for joining. Thank you for sticking around as long as you did. I do realise that it is a ridiculous time for me to be streaming from the perspective of being over there. Now, I will go back to my normal soldering iron tip. When you say what time is it for you, do you mean for me, as in the person doing the stream? If that is the case, it is currently 3:53 p.m. here. So it is afternoon. What am I doing tonight? I don't think I've got anything important going on tonight. Last night was important. I'm in a car club. And I'm on the committee of a car club. I had to go to the annual general meeting of that. I actually chaired it, to be honest. But tonight I get to relax. I get to stay home. I had a huge lunch, so I'll probably have something very light for dinner. There we go. That's way more information than anyone needed. But don't let anyone ever tell you that I'm not open. Actually, I'll probably end up doing some more recapping tonight. I've got 2 Amiga 1200s here, and one of them in particular has been sitting for a lot longer than I like a recapping job to sit around for. I've got a 2SI logic board and power supply. I'm probably going to live stream that on Saturday. I'm going to do both of them in the live stream, the logic board and the power supply. I do actually have videos of both of those, but, you know, I mean, it just, you know, in particular, I do have, I get questions about 2SI. Did I say CI? SI. I'm doing a 2CI now. The SI is what I'm going to do on Saturday. I get quite a lot of questions about SIs. I think people really like them. I mean, I like them, but yeah, I get people sort of asking me about SIs. So I figured I'd do a live stream of recapping one. People can ask me questions directly if they want to. I think the SI is a really cute little computer, wouldn't you say? All this wick. So much wick. Still got a fair bit left though. That's good. Ridiculous time for me to stream. Yes, no, it's a ridiculous time for me to stream to an American audience. And of course, the thing is that most of my audience is American. I get obviously people from all around the world watching, but generally the majority of my audience are from the US, and so it's not a particularly friendly time. But having said that, I do know there are people in the world that are not in the same time zone as the US, and it's good to actually stream at different times so that everyone gets a chance. This is probably a stupid time for Australians because they're probably still at work at this stage. I'll be watching this going, hey, how come you streamed while I was at work? It's terrible. Right. Deliciously clean pads as usual. Then I'm going to get myself a toothbrush and give this a good old clean. There is a pigeon just there. You are one gutsy pigeon. What do you expect to find in here? Bye. Okay. That's what my solder sucker sounds like. It goes. The sound I make when I'm looking for my scalpel. I'm just going to scrape some of this black stuff off. Yuck. And some more, and some more, and some more, and some more. Let's get it all looking nice. Capacitor stealing pigeon. Yeah, you never know. It could be. I think at this time of year, with it being spring, and of course they're all getting those spring feelings. They're probably on the hunt for some food. I've got something here to show people who might know. Anyone here who's ever worked on a modern laptop, I've got something here. See if you can tell me what this is. And then extra points if you can tell me why it's not on the board anymore. How were these originally sold in Malton Bath? Most probably. Certainly for the surface mount stuff. Yeah, I'm not sure about the through hole. Probably as well. Jay's actually got it. He straight there, but that's kind of unfair because he works on these things all the time. But anyhow. Still working today. Excellent. Power supply was no good though. Kept blowing up capacitors. Oh yeah, okay. 11 p.m. here in the west coast of Canada. 11 oh, that's not too bad. That's not too late. The doorway cam. Yeah, I do, don't I? I'm the more of this, the less of this shed I show, the better. Yeah. So this is a JTAG. This is something off a MacBook Pro, and the reason what it exists for, it's sort of like a diagnostics plug. So Apple have some sort of fancy tool for reading things for testing boards, and they can plug into that JTAG and get information from it. That tool's not available to the common people like us, so that tag is absolutely useless to us. And considering that Apple don't do any sort of component level repairs, it's kind of useless for them as well from a repair perspective. The big problem with the JTAG is it's wired into virtually everything. So if you end up with a problem with it, a short or water damage or something, you can end up stuffing everything on the board with it. So you just remove the thing, which is what I did. Yes, no, it definitely was a JTAG. It was indeed a JTAG. And just so that we can get some, because you said too big for JTAG, just so that we can get some scale. That's me finger. There we go. You can see it is actually quite small. Now, admittedly, I do have a great big fat finger, but even still. JTAG. Yes, no, this is very true. I mean, and look, at the end of the day, I just did expect that Jay would answer that before anyone else could. Hello to Krantz Lab. Thank you for joining. Good morning. So it's morning where you are at the moment, is it? Because it is very much afternoon here at the moment. Look at the gunk on this board, will you? I am so looking forward to cleaning this in the Ultrasonic. So as I mentioned right at the beginning of the stream, anyone who joined a little bit late might have missed me saying it, but I have over my what is that, right shoulder? So I guess that's on your left. They're an ultrasonic cleaner. It's one that I put together from buying parts from, I think, either AliExpress or Banggood, one of those two. And parts arrived, built it, everything's going great. I'm just like, this is the best thing in the world. I've made my own ultrasonic cleaner. It's the right size for things. I can put a great big board like this in there, and I'm thinking, this is awesome. You know, Bruce, you're a legend. But then something happened. First thing that happened was one of the transducers fell off So one of the ones that one of these ultrasonic transducers that's under here literally just fell off. So the glue I'd used, which is JB Weld, wasn't sticking. So piffle. So I thought, well, maybe I just did that one wrong. So I pulled it all out, I drained it, pulled it out, re-glued that one. I also started to think that it might have been heat related. Maybe it was getting too hot and that was softening the glue. So I added this cooling system, which does keep it very cool, I will say. And then what happened next? Then put it all back together again, and then another one fell off. And I thought, and then I think even a third one fell off. It's like, okay, I might have to start using a different glue. So anyhow, I pulled it all out again. I had a look. I tried pulling all of them off, and I was able to get, I think, 1, 2, 3. I was able to get 2 more off. The others were really on there hard, so I thought, no. I'm not going to pull and keep pulling them. If they're stuck on that hard, then I'm going to hope they just stay that way. So I re-prepared the surface. I used a coarser grit sandpaper on the metal so that the glue would adhere to it a bit better, and cleared it with what's that, nail polish remover stuff. And, you know, got it really well sort of prepped, glued the things back on. But then one of the power supplies went. It was just blowing fuses, and then I tested, and it's got a little transistor in it, and that transistor was gone. It wasn't working as a transistor at all. It was just completely shorted together. So I ordered some new ones of those. They just arrived the other day. And then another one of the power supplies went. That one was different. That one was actually one of the transformers in it, the wound transformers. It had been wound in a way where the coating on the metal was actually had gone away, and so 2 of the wires were actually making contact on the transformer. So I had to unwind it and then put some more insulation on it and wind it back up again, because I've got no idea what sort of transformer it is. It's got no label on it. So a homemade wound one or something like that. So anyhow, it's all working again for the moment, but boy, it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle, gotta tell you. Right, well, this looks pretty darn good. I think I'm ready to stick caps on this now. Now, I need a recapping guide. Where on earth would I find a recapping guide for a Macintosh 2CI? Sweden. Ah, well, hello from Sweden. I mean, hello to Sweden from Sydney, Australia, where I am. Dev City connection looks very neat, though. Down the internet rabbit hole I go. Acetone, that's the stuff. All right, let's have a look. Oh, thank you. Oh, wow, look, this is, I've got all of the Mac guys doing it now. Thank you. Thank you very much, Steve. I do appreciate you posting that. Now, do I have a 2CI guide in here? Because I'm not sure if I do. Got a Macintosh 2. There's a 2SI. Surely I would have put the 2CI before the 2SI. I don't have a 2CI thing here. 2VI. 660AV. What? Oh, man. I haven't even printed out a 2CI one. I've got it on the website, but I haven't printed it out, which means now I'm going to have to look at the stupid website. Stupid. While I'm doing this. Dagnabbit. Consonant. Okay, where's this awesome website, Recap a Mac? I'm typing it in here, and yet there's a link that's just been posted into the chat. Oh, Egypt. Okay, resources, Macintosh 2CI. Oh, wow, this actually has links on where you can buy these components. What a fantastic website. Okay, what have we got here? We need 2 10 microfarad 16 volt, and they are going to live in all weird parts of the board, so I'm never going to remember that. Microscope in the near future. I've been looking around for one for my needs. Yeah, one of the most important things in this workshop, I can tell you that for sure. Certainly for me, anyway, with my eyes. I don't actually look at anything in this workshop with any sort of regret about the investment, the financial investment. Pretty much everything in here, I'm very happy with you know, sort of what I get from it. But you just have to keep in mind with these, you know, how much of the work are you doing? Does it warrant the expense? And I would say that you know, I mean, things like your soldering iron and your hot air station, you can get away with fairly cheap ones of those. But when it comes to the microscope, I was originally using a USB one. It allowed me to do things I could do without a microscope, but it's a game changer when you go to one of these optical ones. So, pigeon, not a killer spider. Yeah. So yes, I mean, definitely, I agree. The trinocular ones are great because then you can film what you're doing. It's awesome, and then bother the world with live streams, like I do. Oh, look at that! I've got some goop on there. Dear. So, gonna put down a couple of 10 microfarad 16 volt. I know that they go on these ones here because they're the small ones. Look at that. Look at the crooked printing on this capacitor. Kemet, unacceptable. Off to one side like that. I expect more from you. Okay, as you can see, the capacitor is barely smaller than the pads, so I have to make sure I get it in the right position. And then, let's see if that was some solder there, and then I can tell that is soldered on because I can bend it like this and you can see it's on rock solid on one side. Let's do the other one while we're here, just one side. Yep. 106. I know this is a 10 microfarad 16 volt. Second line here tells me it's 16 volt. The first line here is 106. That tells me 10 followed by 6 zeros, which is 10 million picofarads, which is 10 microfarads. Yay! And if you only want the 326 on the bottom it's probably like a manufacture date code. That will vary. So when I buy these in batches, that's a different number. So it's obviously some sort of code to indicate when it was made, or a lot number, or a batch number, or something like that. Some of the other caps that I've used in the past, they don't have a well, I haven't been able to figure out or work out if it is the case, but I don't think they have a code on there to show what the voltage is, which is annoying. That annoys me. Look at that. Okay, now we've got two 10 microfarad 16 volt caps. World with live streams. Trinocular one's about 570-ish from Amscope. Certainly in US dollars, yeah, I paid way more than that here in Australia. This one here, actually I can't remember what the cost in US was, but this is slightly different to the one you've got, Steve. This bit here, I don't know if it's better or whether it's just an older model. Yeah, I mean they're handy. They're not truly trinocular in that if they were truly trinocular, there would be 3 separate lens paths sort of things, and they're not. There's 2 lens paths, and then this one here just tacks onto the left eye. So this one is seeing this using a prism. It's just splitting it. This is seeing the same thing the left eye does. But let's face it, there's really no need for it to have its own one. It's important to have 2 for your binocular viewing so that you can see depth perception. You can see a left and a right eye. But you don't need depth perception when you're looking through a camera because we're not filming in 3D, are we? No. I am totally losing it now. What am I doing? What's this? 2CI. Yep. Okay, so 2 10 microfarad 16 volts. We just put that on. Then 8 47 microfarad 16, and the rest are axials. So the rest of 47 microfarad 16, anywhere where I see an open pad is going to be 47 microfarad 16. Just be wary that if you're working on a more modern computer, don't just assume that because there's no component there, that they're supposed to put a cap there. I had someone that I was chatting to once had made that mistake. He had a device, I think it might have been a CD, and he was recapping it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He was recapping. I said 7, didn't I? Oh, well, if I run out, We know I need more. He had a device, and he just went and, when he was recapping it, he just went and put caps on every single empty pad, and some of those empty pads were meant to be empty. It's all a learning experience, isn't it? Here we go. We're going to do the code for this one as well. We've got the 16 there. We know that that is for the 16 volt. The bottom one is the date code, or the batch code or whatever. You can see that one's 911 and this is 949. And then the 476, 47 followed by 6 zeros, 47 million picofarads, which is 47 microfarads. I do go through this stuff because the thing is that when you, if you're doing this for the first time, and you look at it and you think, how do I tell these things apart? Well, like that. Another thing that I get asked the most when I'm doing these sorts of live streams is people asking me what temperature I have my soldering iron set on. And of course, one of the things that I do say when it comes to that is that there isn't necessarily a correct temperature for your soldering iron to be on. Yes, sure, it needs to be hotter than what you're trying to melt. But I work with a really, really hot soldering iron. It's the way I like to work. And I like to work quite quickly on the joint so that I'm not exposing things to heat for very long. But I like the way the really hot soldering iron works. I just like the way it just works for me. But it isn't necessarily the same for anyone. And particularly if you're sort of a beginner and you're getting new to it, I wouldn't necessarily suggest going with a really hot soldering iron. You might want to start a little bit cooler, and then sort of get, you know, sort of as you get better at it, then turn up the heat. And and as we always say, do not practice on your pride and joy. Practice on an old VCR or something like that. Don't practice on your favorite old vintage Mac. It's just, you're asking for trouble. Don't be like some people and just go straight for the 840 AV. Start with a classic. Isn't that terrible? I'm being mean to a classic, aren't I? I bet you I haven't cleaned some other pads here. I feel like there's another one. Oh no, I did clean that one. Okay, cool. What do we got here? Yeah, Jay's got special glare. Crank the machine up and move fast, minimise the distortion and overheating the base metal. Yeah, it is funny because that's How did you know I was talking about you, Steve? Going straight for an 840 AV. I could have been talking about someone else who went straight for an 840 AV. Oh dear. So, sorry, I don't know. I'm just making myself laugh and getting a little bit delirious here. It's probably time for me to start drinking. I went for a long walk today, so that's probably what it is. I walked for 4 kilometres. People who don't know what a kilometre is, have a look on Google. I'm soldering this upside down at the moment, and I really don't like doing that. And it's going to be crooked, and I have to do it again. Piff. Can't have these things crooked. Got a standard to uphold, you see? Someone will take a photo and they say, hey, this was recapped by Brankus. Look how crooked his caps are. I need to get a sticker to stick on these things, even just for my own benefit. So, like, put on the outside of the computer to say this was recapped. Especially for power supplies, because you don't know. I recapped the Macintosh 2CI power supply. Is of some relevance given the fact that I am working on a 2CI. It was interesting. It did solve quite a few problems. I was having some issues with that computer, and as soon as I recapped the power supply, those issues went away. So it was clearly not outputting enough juice. Okay, I started on the 2CX, thank you very much, and then did the 840 AV second. So here's the question for you though, Steve, and think carefully before you answer this one. Was the 2CX successful before you started on the 840 AV? Almost 2.5 miles. There we go. That's how far I walked today. Yes, I mean, I could stick just stickers out of like a label printer on them, but they'd be awful. I really need to make up proper ones. And I could just laser print some labels, some little labels, but I'd like something that I don't know, I want something that looks a bit fancier. Fancy. If you don't count the UV slots as a necessity on the system with no built-in video on board. Yeah. Okay, well, how do you know if it's working if you can't get video? What does the hard drive spin up and load, doesn't? I assume it loads an operating system. Here's another capacitor. Just going to put it right there. Maybe it is the PSU. Maybe it is. Is it an Aztec? Because those Aztec ones do have problems. Oh, you got showing on an Apple Talk now. Oh, that's fairly conclusive, isn't it? That's good. Here we are. Well, I think when are you going to go? It's probably time for you to get that 2CX under the microscope. Now that you've got your fancy microscope, wouldn't you say, Steve? Time for that. Oh, yeah, actually, that reminds me. So, for me, it's tomorrow morning. For the others, it is, later tonight, given the fact that it's already Thursday. We've got the Mac-Yak show coming up, which I need to give an old plug to. If people want to jump on and watch Mac-Yak, it's a group of people, guys, at the moment, who get together and chat about Macs, all things Mac and Apple, the technology, the culture, sort of the history, the future. We just talk about everything Mac, and it's good fun, and we just try and keep it lighthearted, and we try and make each other laugh as we're going. And we're not by any means Apple worshippers. We do like a lot of their products, but we're the very first to point out when there are problems. Yeah, it's well worth a watch. So do jump on and have a look at the old Mac-Yak. It's pretty easy to find. MAC-YAK Mac-Yak. Very easy. Actually, there's no dash in the channel. I can't remember. Just search for MAC-YAK. I got some RAM here that I'm going to whip out. I don't know what it is. Is it 256 or is it 1 megabyte? It might be 1 megabyte. We'll see. I'll find it when I start it up, won't I? Okay. 10 a.m. for you tomorrow. Okay, there you go. So yeah, for me it's tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. I think. Yeah. Do we have any topics, fellas? Okay, no worries. Enjoy your stroll, Jay. I haven't looked at the document. I'd love to do. I'd love to talk about people who never plug in their iPhones. That's something that always amazes me when people come to me and go, "Oh man, my phone's not working. It's doing this, whatever." And I go, "Okay, just erase it and restore it from a backup." Oh, I don't have a backup. So every time you plug it into your computer, it just automatically does a backup. Yeah, I've never plugged it into my computer. You what? You what? People do it. People are like that. Some people. Okay, so I think at this stage I could probably actually at this stage I could stick some axial capacitors on it, or what? Are we really going to do that? Is that a good idea? It's funny because I mean, I don't like the way he operates, but he's not actually doing anything like illegal, or as we say, talking about having to ban him from groups and stuff like that. At the end of the day, he's I don't like it. I don't want to be his buddy, but you know, free enterprise. You'll see why in the message chat. Um, very 48 megabytes of RAM. All right, okay. So I'm getting totally distracted now. I've got to stick some axial caps on this thing. Let's get some axial caps. Anyone who is watching my stream for the first time, or perhaps hasn't seen many of my streams, axial caps look like this. They have wires coming out of each end rather than two coming out the one end, which is a radial cap. So this is an axial. The ones with two wires coming out them at the same side are a radial. And yep, I need some axial caps for this. I have seen people use radial caps in place of axial caps and bend the wires around. It's fine, but I don't like the look of it. Don't like it. It's stupid. 47016. Oh, wow, this is my last two. Oh, I hope I don't have to do any more of these. Well, I need 3 of them as well, so I won't be using those then. 47016. There we go. Well, it serves me right for not buying more, doesn't it? What a fool. I'm stupid. And then I need a 22016. At least I've got one of those left. There we go. So, typically, the reason why I'm sort of just getting angry at myself is I need to put in 470 microfarad 16 volt caps. And what I usually do is I go up one. I go, instead of putting a 470 16s, I put 470 25s. And I just realized that I've only got 2 of those 470 25s left, but I do have 470 16s. So I can actually put in the right caps. I just can't put in some higher rated caps. So that's all. 2:23 a.m. It's surprising I can still type. I've seen you up later than this, Steve, and I've seen you streaming later than this, so come on. All you're having to do is sit and relax and watch me at this stage. Alright. Okay. 4,008 dollars for 40 megas. Okay. So rare he had 10 of them. You know, it's funny because, I mean, this particular individual, he did posted a post with an LC575 that was busted to bits after transport. And then I saw someone selling a Color Classic in euros, so obviously in Europe somewhere, and he said interested. And I thought to myself, you've just ended up with this 575 landing at your doorstep that's shattered into pieces, and you're now talking about bringing a classic across from Europe. I mean, do you like getting computers in pieces? Is it some sort of scam about getting refunds or something for shattered computers? I don't know. I mean, just with those sorts of Macs, you got to pick them up. You got to be at the right place in the right time. I'm bending pins at the moment, and I'm a bit fastidious about it, so I'm trying to bend them all the same. Oh crap, did I pick up the right cap? 470? 470? No, 220. There is a weird noise going on in the background. Oh, I know what the bloody weird noise is. It's this thing starting to boil again. I left the heater on. not actually boiling, but it is getting warm. What temperature is it? For anyone out there in the metric part of the world, it is currently sitting on about 60 degrees Celsius in there now. It's a little bit warmer than I wanted it, but it's all right. Yeah. Bending pins. We're having fun bending pins. Okay. Oops. Whoops. Come on. Right, I think I've managed to bend all of these completely different lengths, so that's going to be fun. That's okay. Should be fine. So, now I regularly get these around the wrong way because I'm stupid, and I need to get the minus facing not where the plus is. Funny that. Didn't quite get the pins the right length. Stupid. How much will I worry about that? Am I going to bend them again? Answer, yes. God, there's some chat going on at the moment, and my watch is going off. I hope you guys are all talking about topics. That's awesome. Oh, I've got to prepare something for tomorrow's show, don't I? Going to do the, I'm planning to do the G4 iMac in my segment on the Mac Yak show tomorrow. I do hope everyone who is watching here will try and watch that. Okay, that's pointing the right way. I can feel confident. I can feel happy and full of joy. That's me. Was that the sunflower? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that means. That's that may not have been meant for me, or if it was meant for me, it might have been in relation to something I said before and then immediately forgot that I said it, because I do that all the time. Oh, the G4 iMac, the half dome with the floating panel LCD. Yes, now, it's interesting. I've never heard of it called the sunflower. I probably should know that, I guess, if that's something it's called. I tend to call it the lampshade Mac. I assume that was some sort of code for it, wasn't it? Some sort of secret code. The one of the reasons why I like that computer is because I think it was in my opinion, remember this is just my opinion, in my opinion, it was the first time Apple really got an all-in-one computer right. The idea was always a good one, but the technology, I think, let them down. Great big heavy CRTs, always a pain. I think that making sure they're pointing in the right direction, that the LCD was the thing that really made an all-in-one computer a reality, a practical reality. I've actually got a couple of them and I really like them. One of the things that I like about one of the ones that I have, is it will happily run OS 9 natively. You know, dual boot. I can boot into OS 9 or boot into OS 10. And I really like that about it. Some of the later ones don't do that. Some of the later ones are OS 10 only. But, yeah. I still like to be able to boot into OS 9. I've got a few games and stuff that I use and like and all that sort of things and stuff. Luxo, yeah, I know there was the Luxo Mac that was from the old Pixar reference there. The rest of the lampshade nickname. Most lampshades don't have big flat screens sticking out of them. Yeah, I think it was basically just that, you know, it was that articulated arm more than anything that was the reason why they called it a lampshade. But yes, you're right. I mean, they really weren't a lampshade, were they? Okay, then this one is this one here. I need to change these bendies of these pins. An interesting thing about those lampshade Macs is that over here in Australia, there was some sort of deal done between Apple and what was called at the time the RTA, a Roads and Traffic Authority. So they're the people that handled all of your, you know, your car registration and all that sort of stuff. And they built their entire system using those Macs. And so virtually anywhere in the country you went, when you rocked up into one of the RTA offices, you know, sort of to go and renew your car rego or something, there were those G4 iMacs there. And they eventually replaced them. Geez, they took a long time though. And then all of a sudden 50 zillion of those things ended up on the second-hand market. Off. Thank you. Right. Well, I think we're all done. 470 plus the minus, the minus, there's a minus. There we go. So, would you like me to try it? I was going to recap this as well, the cash card. I should at least have a look at it, even if I don't recap. There's only 2 capacitors on it. It's not like it's a big deal. Oh, here we go. Look at this capacitor. What model of soldering station is that? Yes. So you're talking about this one that I'm using here. Yeah, it's a Hacko FX951, but as the House of Moth Jay just showed there is a link on my webpage where I list pretty much all of the equipment that I use. I am going to do a video as well one day. No, that's not too bad. It's a little bit ugly. It needs a clean, but that's not too bad. Is there any actual trace damage going on here? Oh, that's alright. 2 caps. There's the other one. Here it is. 2 caps. Can we have scope cam, please? Yes, sure. Sorry. I always forget. Useless. Sorry about that. Okay, so there's one capacitor there. You can see it's not looking super delicious, but it's not that bad. There's a little bit of this discoloration here from the capacitor leakage. Have capacitor, will leak. And then this one here looks a little bit nasty. I've got this stuff going on there and stuff and things. But I think this is just a oh, and what's that? Fluff. Ball of fluff. So, yeah. For use with Macintosh 2CI only. Barcode label. Not there. It's that same pigeon again. She's back. See, look, the barcode label's on the other side. Some idiot had no idea where to put it. The pigeon's back. Hello. You are so ballsy. Are we friends now? Oh, goodbye. Okay. Right. Okay, so shall I just replace these while I'm here? Actually, before I do that, I better check because I do need these poly caps for something else. So if I can't use them on this, if I need to use them for a customer's board, I'll have to buy some more. Don't you fall. Okay, it's not that one. It's not that. Oh, maybe it is. No, it's not that one. Is it that one? No. No, it's not that one. Is it up there? Don't think so. Oh, is that it? Nope. Nope. Is that, that's it. Okay. What did I say? It was 22 microfarad, 25 volts. My keyboard just fell down. This keyboard certainly gets knocked around down here. which is why, even though this keyboard, everything's falling apart, I don't bother replacing it because I know it's just going to get worse. Bernie has found other friends. Yes, I do actually want to get one of the other chickens in here to show you one time, because I do actually have a chicken, a blind chicken, and it is huge. It is massive. It's like about 3 times the size of Bernadette. So I'd just love to show you one day because she's an absolute unit. There we go. Right, so I am looking for 22 microfarad, 25 volt. Now I've got some 35s here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I've got 15 of them. I need to see. With my eyes whether I can afford to steal 2 of them. I'm going to check that now here because I'm going to need 22. I'm going to need 10 of them. I've got 15, so I can spare 2. What a happy day. I don't buy many of these polys because they're so expensive. These are the polymer hybrid capacitors. They don't leak like electrolytics do. So yeah, I only buy them for the Amiga guys because they want them. They say, "Oh, we want them." No, and look, ultimately, if someone says to me, "Can you recap my Mac with polys?" I'll say, "Absolutely, I can," but it's going to cost more. The Amiga, there is an Amiga website. I'll see you, GT. Thank you for joining. I'll speak to you on the show tomorrow. The Amiga guys generally look at this one particular website for which caps to use. So I just use those caps because those Amiga guys are already familiar with it. Off she comes. This one's nice and easy. We'll just have this done and then we'll test. And then we'll wrap it up. And everyone who's desperately waiting to get to sleep can get to sleep. Okay, I'm just going to get a heat shield here so I don't melt. There we go. Off she comes. Hey. Stay, you flux, naughty flux. There we go. All right. Had someone actually leave a little comment on one of my videos recently. Said, I fell asleep to the sound of your voice the other night. And it's like, yeah, my voice has that effect on people. Start talking like this. Today, in this recapping. Okay. It's a nice easy one. I'm definitely going to drop into more in the future. Well, thank you very much for that. Oh, look, and then we've got a super chat. Thank you. Great banter. Well, that's a nice thing to say. As much as possible, I'm just trying to keep it interesting for anyone who's watching. To a certain extent, anyway. I mean, I realise that it's not going to be interesting for everyone because we're recapping vintage Macintosh computers. That's not necessarily everyone's cup of tea. But if we are going to be recapping vintage computers, it's nice to try and keep it a little bit light and conversational and fun and all that sort of stuff. I can do my silly accent impressions and stuff like that. Let's just give this a little bit of clean before we put some new flux on and we put some new caps on and then everyone will be happy. Okay, there we go. Flux. Fuck, this is me rushing it. It's all going to be fine. This is going to end up in the ultrasonic cleaner. It'll look delicious after that. I have 2 of these cash cards and only 3 CIs, which is, it just means that one of them has to go without. Here's a question for folks, to the vintage Mac tech gurus. If I am running a Macintosh 2CI with a Radius Rocket 040 CPU upgrade in the new bus slot, does the cash card do anything? There we go. That's probably a question for Peter. We all know Peter from the groups. Don't ask me to pronounce his surname without it having it actually in front of me. .22 microfarad. Now look at this. Look at the numbering. Oh, you're not microscope views. Sorry guys. Jeez, I did it again. Your mother's upset. This cap here, as you can see, 22 BZA 9L3. How are we supposed to know what voltage is? I can't see 35 volt there anywhere. I don't like these secretive codes. Yeah, sorry, your mother's upset's actually a reference to a movie, an Australian movie called Chopper. Chopper Reed. Well, it's about an Australian crime figure called Mark Brandon Reed, who was also known as Chopper. He was called Chopper. He got the nickname because I think he used to chop people's toes off or something, or at least he said he did. I don't know if he actually really did. He was a well-known liar, and there's a scene in it where he's having an argument with his girlfriend. And then he just loses it and just punches her in the head, and she just gets flattened to the ground. And then the girlfriend's mother comes up and says, "What have you done?" And he then flattens the mother as well. And then he's standing there with the 2 women on the ground, and he's saying, why did it have to turn into this? And then he looks over at the mother on the ground and he says, "And your mother's upset?" And you just look and think, "Oh God." It's not an easy scene to watch, I have to tell you. But it's just become that whole line of "and your mother's upset," which is just the most absurd thing for him to say at that particular moment. It's just unbelievable. He wasn't a very nice person. Some of those surface mount caps look dodgy. Yes, they do. I know the ones you're talking about. You're talking about this one looks a bit dodgy, and this one looks a bit dodgy because of all this crust on the outside. I'm going to rely on the ultrasonic cleaner to work its magic with that. We'll see. Yes, well, it's not. I mean, there are funny bits in it because of their absurdity, but it's not actually a comedy as such. But there are things that make you laugh because they're just almost unbelievable. They've just gone on. It's and as I say, and of course the thing that is hard to believe is that he was a real person. He died a few years ago, but he was actually a real human being. He cut his ears. He cut his own ear off. His ear, both of them actually, I think, while he was in prison. He didn't like where he was, the particular section he was in the prison, so he cut both his ears off so that they would move him to a different section. Just gives you sort of a bit of a window into the person's mind. Now, this is something I really probably shouldn't fire up without cleaning it, but you know me, I like to take a chance. There is a problem though. Right down here right now, I don't have a monitor and I don't have my SCSI 2SD to see if it boots. So I'm going to have to do the little back soon thing, duck up to the house, grab the monitor and the cable and stuff like that. It won't take me more than about a minute. So please sit tight and I will come back and we will test this guy. Thanks, Sue. Okay, so now I'm pretty sure the monitor is already down here somewhere because I couldn't find it up there. We might have to just live with a chime if I can't find it. But I thought it was down here. If the rocket is a new bus card, then yes, you can use both. Aha! Okay, that's good to know. All right, so I believe that no, the cash card won't be used. The built-in 128 cash of the A4 card will be used. Okay, but the cash have to be compatible with the I've been watching the stream at work, so I haven't heard a thing. Sorry about that. I'll have to start doing some sign or something like that. So, all right, what are we going to do about this? If I can't find this monitor, and I don't want to keep you guys waiting for too long, so I'll just have a quick look. I thought it was down here with a flat battery. Let me just have a quick squeeze. Ah, here it is. Here it is. I remember what happened now. I was there. Excuse me. Rhoda. Okay. This is my little Wii monitor. I've got a little Wii speaker floating around here. Speaker. Let's try and get that close to up here. I couldn't find my SCSI to SD. It's and as I say, I just didn't want to spend too much time looking for it. I'm going to put some Ram-a-Lam in here. Black Penny. Ram-a-Lam. Bank A. There we go. Got my goggles on so I can't see very well. Can't read what's on the screen there. Okay, so there's some RAM, there's some speaker. I've got my special Sync-On green adapter, which you need for the old 2CI. And I think the old LC, certainly all these early ones, that's what you'll want. You'll want your Sync-On green adapter. And then we're going to plug this into here. And there we go. Okay. So, there's that. Then we get a power supply. This is my testing power supply that I have floating around here. Actually, I might have a real 2CI one down here. No, I don't. I think they're all upstairs. Sorry. I did have one down here because I was doing some recapping. I've had some... Oh, actually, I know where it is. So this is my ATX one that's been turned into a 2CI power supply. Yes. I didn't check all of my work today, did I? I normally do that, and I didn't today. That'll be the time I stuff something up, won't it? So we'll pop that in to there, all the way around to there. There we go. So this power supply will work on a 2CI. Sorry, just banged that there. This will work on a 2CI. Will work on a 2VXVI. Will work on a 2SI. They all use the same pinouts. So there we go. They don't necessarily fit. They're not the same size. We know that, but that's okay. Right, this one has a switch on it, so I can actually do a big reveal moment. Awesome. All right, we ready for this? I'll be very disappointed if it doesn't work. I'll just catch up on the chat here very quickly. The 840AV doesn't support Sync-On green. Okay, don't tell me. Using that with the wrong video cable this whole time while testing. No, it didn't boot though, did it? It didn't actually start up a hard drive or anything, I thought, but I could be wrong. Been testing with a CRT, it shouldn't matter. Ah, true. Yes, there we go. Yes. And yes. Alright, so here's the speaker. I'm going to put it next to the microphone. Or as close to the microphone as I gotta get the microphone, put it down. There we go. So we can hear the chime. Gonna switch it on in a moment. We ready? Ready? Drum roll. And hey! Hey, look at that. Wrong camera. Look at that. Sorry about how bright it is. And don't freak about those vertical lines. They kind of look like, oh, well, this has got video problems and jailbird and all that sort of stuff. It's actually fine. It's to do with that sync on green video signal going through this monitor with the, what is it, that sort of dot pattern that's on here. It does that. That's just how it goes. Now, what I really want to see and what I haven't seen just yet is a flashing hard drive. There we go. Flashing hard drive, which you can almost see. There we go. I'll hold it at an angle, you can see it. What if I change to a view like that? Is that any better? No, it's even worse, if anything. So, that is it's started. I haven't been able to boot into an operating system. For that, I apologise. As I say, my little SCSI 2 SD, my little version 5.5, I've been using that a lot lately, and I've left it somewhere. It's not far away, but it's long enough so that I don't want to just leave the stream while I hunt for it. It'll just be, that's just no good for anyone. So yeah, in the words of Greg Rutke from Rutke Mods, it bombed. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So this computer, this particular computer here, is now going to get a good clean. I might post actually, I'll take a photo of it before the clean, and I'll take a photo of it after the clean, stick it up on my Brankus webpage. Facebook page. So if you haven't liked my Brankus Facebook page, please jump on and do that now, because as I say, I do like to post updates on there every now and again. So I'll do a before and after photo, and then this particular computer, I'm going to probably recap the power supply as well, and this is going to actually belong to someone else. I don't know if he's still watching. Yes, he is. I am going to be trading this one for something else. So anyhow, yeah, but this is that's all working. It's all going well. So everybody's happy. Well, I am anyway. And I am going to sign off now. It is currently just before 5 p.m. here. That's almost 1 o'clock for me. And I would like to say thank you to everyone who has watched today and has stayed watching. That's I'm sitting on about 35 viewers at the moment, so thank you. And this was a completely unexpected stream that I did get bullied into. But I mean, I could have just said no, couldn't I? I will hopefully see you at the next one. As I say, I will probably going to stream my time Saturday morning, so US time. That's going to be Friday evening. Going to be looking at a Macintosh 2SI logic board and power supply, and of course the Mac Yak show is on Thursday night. What do we call that? That's Eastern time, which is 11 a.m. in my time here in Australia. So thank you. I'm on the East Coast of Australia. So thank you to everyone. Yeah, there we go. 8 p.m. Eastern. There you go. And I will hopefully see you at the next stream. So thank you to every single one of you, and thank you for the super chats, and hopefully see you at the next one. So bye now.